Steiner opened December in a match against Scott Hall in front of over 32,000 at the Astrodome, doing a 3.7 rating, with Luger and the Wolfpack coming out for the save to set up an angle for next week, with Steiner and Bagwell calling out Luger in the main event quarter after Steiner's match against Van Hammer, picking up over 300,000 viewers, with Scott and Buff trying to recruit Luger to NWO Hollywood, offering him a black and white shirt, doing a 4.1. Steiner and Bagwell came out in front of another huge crowd at St. Louis doing a Mark McGuire parody, with the segment spiking the show from a 3.2 to a peak 4.2 rating, closing the month with Steiner going over Conan to win the U.S. title in a match, jumping over 500,000 viewers to a 4.7. The build-up to the Goldberg vs. Nash Starrcade main event saw WCW on its highest attendance run in wrestling TV history, with 3 stadium shows in a month drawing over 100,000 people. December 7 saw WCW promoting a Goldberg vs. Bigelow main event throughout the show that ended up with a bait-and-switch finish, as Nash promised in a promo during the first hour that the match won't happen, with all 3 coming out with less than 5 minutes left on the show to end in a minute brawl in a quarter, doing a 3.7. After the last few weeks of not delivering the advertised main events, WCW delivered the Goldberg-Nash-Bigelow 3-way match in the main event on December 14th, picking up over 900,000 viewers in the overrun to a peak 4.9 rating, which went neck and neck with Raw's 5, while in the build to the match 2 hours before it, Scott Hall taunted Bigelow backstage to start a 4-way brawl, with Nash and Goldberg running in to set up the main event minutes before Raw went on the air, as the backstage brawl recap also bumped Nitro over 500,000 viewers to a 4.2. Goldberg vs. Hall headlined the Starrcade Go Home show in front of a record crowd at the TWA Dome in what ended up the final match in the Goldberg streak run, starting already past 11 p.m., jumping over 700,000 viewers to a 4 rating, while a day after the pay-per-view Nash's title win follow-up promo challenging Goldberg to a rematch at the Georgia Dome gained over 700,000 viewers to the peak quarter of the show 4.8 rating, which beat Raw's 4.3, as well as Bigelow and Hall working singles matches on the night, with Bigelow vs. Disco doing a 4.1. While Hall's promo on the Nash-Goldberg finish and match with Bryan Adams saw WCW jump to a 4.7. Ric Flair and Eric Bischoff took their feud's intensity to the next level, heading into and coming off Starrcade with some of the most heated segments in wrestling history, drawing the most peak ratings in WCW during the month with big viewership gains throughout. Flair opened Nitro's third hour on December 7, cutting an intense hype promo on Bischoff, drawing a show-high 4.3 rating, with one of the most talked about angles of the year happening the following week, with Flair chasing Bischoff before coming back to the ring for another wild promo that ended with him holding his chest and taken out of the building with an alleged heart attack, as the segment, which took place in the final quarter of the unopposed hour, jumped big with over 1.3 million viewers to a 5.9 rating, with Bischoff's out-of-character update promo 2 hours later also gaining over 500,000 viewers to a 4.1. Flair and Bischoff were all over the show 6 days from the pay-per-view in several angles, doing the 3 most watched quarters on the night, with the first one placed in the crossover segment at 9 p.m. with Flair and the Horsemen arriving at the stadium mid-Eric's promo, with Flair running to the ring promising to get him tonight in a segment doing a 4.2 rating which beat Raw's 4, making it Nitro's first opening quarter victory in almost 2 months, as Flair and Bischoff were back out an hour later with Flair cutting the final pay-per-view selling promo doing another show-high 4.2. Things were heating up further following Starrcade with Flair cutting one of the most memorable promos in his career to challenge Eric to the rematch in a company versus career match for the main event, with the match which also saw Randy Savage making his TV return after 6 months out, jumping huge in the overrun with over 2 million viewers to a 6.2 rating, the highest recorded peak rating of the month for both companies. Due to a mixture of injuries and storyline reasons, Steve Austin and Undertaker only appeared on one Raw show during December, with Austin out with a combination of a pulled muscle and a stomach virus suffered while in the UK for the Capital Carnage pay-per-view, and Taker getting a few weeks off after working through injuries in the build to the Ministry of Darkness reveal to start '99. Austin and Taker's only Raw show came on December 7th in the build to the Rock Bottom pay-per-view, having 2 segments on the night including one of the most talked about angles of the year to close the show. Austin opened the second hour hyping the Buried Alive match before Taker responded burning his symbol in a segment doing a 4.7 rating, with both involved in the main event tag match with Rock and Mankind doing a show-high 5.6 rating, as the big talking point came minutes later in the overrun with Taker putting Austin on the symbol in a crucifixion pose going unopposed to peak at a 6.9 rating. The Outlaws started the month teasing going corporate and turning heel on DX, ending up in a swerve of them turning on the corporation an hour later before taking part in a parody of them the following week playing Vince and Shane, along with them facing Bossman and Shamrock in a tag titles match drawing a near show-high 5.4 rating. Road Dogg and Billy Gunn worked high-profile singles matches in the final 2 weeks of December. First with Gunn vs Shamrock doing a 4.9 and Road Dogg vs Bossman doing a 4.7, with both involved in Raw's final 2 matches of '98 with Gunn vs Kane doing a 5.2, and Road Dogg vs Mankind doing a show-high 5.5. The McMahons opened Raw's second hour on December 14th to officially kick off the build to the '99 Royal Rumble pay-per-view, drawing Austin at number 1 while announcing that Vince McMahon will wrestle his first ever match in the Rumble in a segment drawing a 5.3 rating, while on the same night Vince challenged Mankind to a street fight outside the building with the brawl jumping to another 5.3. Vince put Shane in charge of Raw on December 21st while going to the gym, with Shane opening the show to set up a match against Foley in his in-ring debut, as the Shane vs Mankind match which took place over an hour later gained over 1 million viewers to a quarter-high 5.4 rating, with Vince returning for the main event promising a Christmas surprise which saw Kane joining the corporation doing a 5.8. As Vince closed out '98 with a main event segment of him firing Shawn Michaels doing a 5.5, and a skit of him and Shane training in the gym for his in-ring debut at the Rumble jumping over 700,000 viewers to a 4.6. Shamrock and Bossman continued to do strong numbers in tag and singles matches throughout the month as part of the corporation, opening December in a tag match against Triple H and X-Pac doing a 5.3 rating, while a week later in the Rock Bottom pay-per-view rematch, Shamrock and Bossman beat the Outlaws to win the tag belts in a tag match doing the second highest quarter of the show 5.4 rating. Bossman and Shamrock worked singles matches for the final 2 weeks of the year, bumping Raw around 3 million viewers. First with Shamrock vs. Billy Gunn jumping over 700,000 viewers to a 4.9, while Bossman vs. Road Dogg picked up over 400,000 viewers to a 4.7, closing the year with Bossman against X-Pac doing a 4.6 and Shamrock vs. Triple H jumping big to a 5.4. After months out with knee injury, Triple H returned full-time in December with the DX vs. Corporation feud, one of the main features throughout every show during the month. Hunter X-Pac and Chyna opened December 7th, calling out the Outlaws after a swerve of them joining the corporation to bring out Michaels with them, while working a tag match in the co-main event of Raw against Bossman and Shamrock, gaining over 700,000 viewers to a 5.3 rating, with the full DX crew opening the show again the following week along with Jason Sensation in a corporation parody, opening Raw at record levels with a 5.5 rating. X-Pac and Hunter were in the main event spot again on December 21st in a tag match against Rock and Test doing a show-high 5.8 rating, with both working singles matches the following week with X-Pac against Bossman doing a 4.6, while Triple H vs. Shamrock at the top of the hour jumped big with over 1.2 million viewers to a 5.4. Shawn Michaels and his new commissioner role was back in the main TV storylines for the first time since March, being indirectly involved in every major angle on the show either on the microphone or at ringside. Michaels' first 2 weeks of the month saw him opening Raw and promo confrontations with DX, first going face-to-face with Triple H for the first time since the DX split, saying that he made him when he was a nobody before their run. While a week later Michaels came out with Rock to respond to the DX parody with Jason Sensation playing Michaels' role in the skit, with both segments doing near-record numbers opening with 5.5 ratings. Michaels started the potential babyface turn of him jumping back to DX on December 21st with him preventing the corporation from helping Shane against Mankind, setting up the main event confrontation the following week with a Vince McMahon announcement waiting for Shawn's arrival throughout the show, ending up with Vince firing him and Michaels officially turning babyface with a superkick to lay him out and close 98 in the overrun doing a 5.5 rating. Mankind's WWF title chase against Rock and the Corporation went to the next level in December as the main program on Raw during the month, with Vince putting multiple obstacles in the build to the title win on January 4th, booking him in a no-holds-barred match against Kane on December 14th doing a 4.9 rating, with Mankind interrupting McMahon's promo to challenge him to a match later tonight, setting up Mankind vs. Vince along with Patterson and Briscoe outside the building, gaining over 700,000 viewers in total to a 5.3. A week later Shane challenged Mankind to a match as revenge for Vince, with Foley taunting him throughout in a match jumping over 1 million viewers to a quarter-high 5.4 rating, closing the month in a hardcore title match against Road Dogg in the Raw main event jumping over 400,000 viewers to a 5.5. Rock continued his run on top in December, being involved in all 4 peak segments of the show during the month, starting on December 7th with the Raw main event 6 days from the Rock Bottom pay-per-view, teaming up with Taker against Austin and Mankind, jumping over 400,000 viewers to a show-high 5.6 rating. A week later, Rock came out in Raw's opening segment in front of over 19,000 at the Tacoma Dome to respond to the DX Corporation parody, doing a parody of his own with Hogan Savage Flair and Bret catchphrase imitations to start Raw with a 5.5 rating, the highest rated opening segment in show history, while nearly 2 hours later during the final quarter of the show running in for the save during the McMahon-Mankind parking lot brawl along with a title match against Triple H doing a 5.3, with Raw overall despite both Austin and Taker being written off TV, drawing its 3rd highest rating in history with a 5.2. Rock continued with big numbers for the main event on December 21st with a tag match along with the debuting Test against X-Pac and Hunter, picking up over 800,000 viewers to a peak 5.8 rating, while also being involved in the highest rated quarter of the night, running in to take out Mankind against Shane doing a 5.4, closing the month in 98 in general, doing commentary for the final Raw match of the year, making his first appearance of the night at 10:50 p.m. for the Mankind vs. Road Dogg Hardcore title match, gaining over 400,000 viewers to another show-high 5.5 to close the year on top of the list with massive momentum heading into 1999.